Hey travelers, welcome back to Beyond Build Mode. If you're new here, I'm Dagmarok, and here on Beyond the Build, we create cozy, sci-fi inspired builds in No Man's Sky. Always glitch-free and mod-free, so anyone can recreate them. Today's episode is extra special for me. I've been a Star Trek fan since I was a little kid, and since you're here, I'm hoping you share my love for the franchise. Out of all the Trek shows, Voyager and Deep Space Nine are my absolute favorites, and that's exactly what inspired this set of builds. We've got a Voyager-style Corvette that captures that classic Starfleet look and a DS9-inspired base that really channels that deep space lived-in feel. Honestly, this might be one of my favorite projects so far. It's even made me start rewatching both series again, for probably the 5th time. Alright, let's start with the Voyager Corvette. This build is my little love letter to Starfleet design. Sleek, functional, and just a bit over-engineered. The whole lines were inspired by the Intrepid class design, that smooth, arrowhead silhouette Voyager is known for. I really tried to keep the proportions balanced so it feels true to series without using any glitch building tricks. Everything here is placed using only in-game snapping tools, so no mods, no exploits, and no lengthy workarounds requiring hours of scaffolding just to get your shape. This way, anyone can rebuild this design exactly as it is, even on console. You'll notice that I've kept the ship within the 100-part limit, and that meant every piece had to pull its weight. The nacelles are built from standard thrusters with blue and red light placements to give that warp glow. The central section uses one row of stacked freighter hulls for sizing, giving it scale and depth without blowing the part count. So this build might not be as large in hab space as my pirate or battleship builds, but it still has room for all the necessities. Inside, I opted for Ambassador class habs throughout for this Corvette to channel that advanced space age look. If you've ever wanted a Starfleet style ship that feels right in No Man's Sky universe, this one's a great balance of aesthetic and practicality. Using the heavy scaffold, I attached the Ambassador sublight thrusters to the hull of the aircraft, where the thrusters serve as the nacelles for the Voyager. After the main body build, I went back in for some detail work where I added blue and red lights going down the thrusters in order to give it the look of the Voyager nacelles. As with most of my builds, you'll note that the lower hull, right as you enter through the loading bay, is lined with several storage units. I always prioritize accessibility in my layout, so having all storage conveniently located in the lowest deck makes gameplay much smoother. The highlight of this level, though, is up toward the front, where I've built a Borg regeneration alcove out of the shell assembly stations, which fit perfectly here, adding the not-so-subtle nod to 7 of 9. Moving up to the next level, we've got the mess hall, complete with food replicators and, of course, Neelix's galley. Doesn't it just look like Neelix has been in here cooking away? I tried to capture that same cluttered feeling Voyager's crew had when they stopped in to see what Neelix had prepared between missions. Coffee, anyone? The third level houses the crew quarters and lounge, surrounded by wide viewing windows, so guests can enjoy the stars as we make our way through the quadrant. It's a calm, clean space that might be repurposed later on for Kessa's aeroponics bay. We'll see. Heading up the forward staircase, you'll find the cockpit with direct access to the mission radar and refiner. The visibility here is totally unobstructed, a clean, cinematic view of space that makes every takeoff feel special. Going up the rear stairs from the lounge leads to the external hull access, something I include on most of my Corvette builds for convenience. Whether you're repairing damage or just want to admire the ship from the outside, this route makes it simple. And one of my favorite layout features in this design is the straight, uninterrupted line from the loading bay door all the way to the cockpit. It gives the ship a natural sense of flow and makes entering, exiting, or just moving between decks incredibly easy. Now let's talk about the Deep Space Nine inspired base. You'll notice right away this base floats high above the planet's surface. To achieve that, I first established a small ground base and then built a stairway heading up into the sky. A quick tip here, try to find a spot with electromagnetic power nearby before you start. That way you can power your floating base without relying on a ton of solar panels, biofuel reactors, or batteries. The stairway climb took a bit of time. I went until I reached a height I really liked, but honestly, you can go even higher than I did. There are a few different ways to create floating bases, but I used what I like to call the Stairway to Heaven method because it's simple and easy for anyone to reproduce without glitches, mods, or near expert timing. Once you reach your desired height, you'll notice that there aren't many circular build options in No Man's Sky, especially for large bases. That's where your geometry skills come in handy. Before you start your main layout, place a few floor panels at the top of your stairs and add a starship landing pad. Trust me, you'll want that when, not if, you fall back to the surface. From there, start building out your base using hexagon or octagon layers, depending on the size you want. Each joint in those rings is formed with smaller hexagon or triangle floor panels. Once your rings are laid out, you can start adding the walls, roofs, and pylons to shape the structure. That's what gives it that signature DS9 silhouette. It's a little time-consuming, but the end result is absolutely worth it. A true floating citadel that captures the feel of Deep Space Nine, all built with standard parts so anyone can recreate it. Alright, let's tour Deep Base 9. We start in the entry corridor from the main landing pad, which opens into the promenade, the heart of the station. On the left, you'll find the base teleporter and a welcome message for new arrivals. On the right, there's the information desk, because every good space mall needs one. Heading right, we pass through the promenade lounge with plenty of seating for all your socializing needs, or just watching ships glide by. Beyond that, we've got a beautiful shrine and several shops for the station's residents, adding that lived-in, bustling feel of a real hub. Just past the shops are the storage containers to store all the residents' belongings. And tucked behind them, a rear entrance to the bar. Because yes, the station has its own Quark's bar. Inside, you'll find a fully staffed setup where you can grab a drink, relax, and maybe lose a few bars of platinum at the Dabo tables. Personally, looks like I'm all out. Leaving Quark's, you'll pass the exocraft, weapons, and science terminals, along with the Galactic Trade Terminal. There's got to be something in the rules of acquisition about having a trade terminal readily available. If you head straight back from the promenade entrance, you'll find the transporter pads, or short-range teleporters, which connect to each of the 4 docking pylons, making it easy to reach your ship from the lower station. From these vantage points, you can get some of the best views of the base, day or night, especially with the lighting reflecting off the structure's outer ring. And of course, as with all my builds, this station is a work in progress. I'm always adding new details as I keep playing, so if you'd like to see how it evolves, feel free to visit the base in-game and check out what's new. As I was building these, I'll be honest, I got completely carried away. Somewhere between the Voyager's nacelles and Quark's bar, I decided I had to make a mashup of the opening credits for Voyager and Deep Space Nine, but using my own builds. So that's what I'm working on next, and I can't wait to share it with you. After that, I'll be moving from sci-fi to sci-fantasy with my Viking ship build, and then back to space with a full Battlestar Galactica Corvette. If you want to see those when they drop, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next adventure. And of course, if you have a favorite sci-fi ship or station you'd love to see me try to recreate, leave it in the comments below. I read them all, and who knows, your idea might be next. And that wraps our tour of the Voyager Corvette and Deep Space Nine, 2 builds that really brought my love for Star Trek into No Man's Sky. Thanks so much for watching and for being part of this amazing community of creative travelers. Your support, ideas, and enthusiasm make every build even more fun to share. I'm Dagmarok, this is Beyond Build Mode, and until next time, keep building, keep exploring, and I'll see you out among the stars.